Yeah. Josh does fantasy. You know what it is. Sunday coming quick, set your line up right. Josh got the plays, got the insight tonight. From the draft to the trades, he's ahead of the call. Breaking down the game, yeah, he's schooling us all. Josh does fantasy, football, that's the vibe. Grab your notes, tune in, it's a winning ride. Stats and laughs every week on tap. Josh got the heat, let's run it back. Josh does fantasy. Josh does fantasy football.
Welcome in. Today's show, looking at our Week 11 recap. Gonna have some fun this week and do our usual thing. No guest speaker this week, but that is okay. We will go solo today and try to bring you a good show and talk about what's happened this week and what's going to happen next week as we get closer to the playoffs. Only a few more games, so hopefully everyone's team is locking in, getting ready for this playoff push. And it's going to be a fun time. So start like we normally do. Look at the activity for the previous week here. So like waivers went through Dynasty League here. We got Kelly getting K. Dotton, 2 bids there, just him and Pirtle. Pirtle put 0 in. K. Dotton got 3 points. That's unfortunate. But you know what? He got 5 targets. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that one, Kelly. Maybe it was a down game for him. Looks like he's done decent otherwise. Brent picked up Malik Washington, which I think is not a bad pickup, but still, he's young, so he could be something to develop long term. You know, I don't think they'll have Tyreek anymore. He's listed as a wide receiver 2. Overall, though, I mean, the Dolphins have had lots of issues this year, so could have some coaching changes next year and things. So Malik may be a player, Brent, that you can keep long term and maybe take a shot on. Let's see anything else to look at. Seekers dropped Michael Penix. Can't blame him there on that. Now he's on the IR, so Seekers also dropped Kyle Pitts. Again, can't blame him there. Kyle Pitts, so much talent, just in the wrong spot. If he ever goes to a different team, could be good for him, but no what team he goes to. And then we got Bryce that picked up Kyle Pitts right after that. So Bryce is thinking that eventually he'll be worth something as a tight end. Usually they can play a little longer, in the 30s for sure. So everything goes right. Kyle Pitts gets traded to a better team. And then going forward, maybe Bryce will have 5 to 7 good years out of him. So we'll see. It's hard to hold on to someone, though, that's not done anything the last 4 years. So I can understand dropping him. Anything else to look at? Well, let's see here. Bryce did pick up Zon of a Night. He got 12 points. Not terrible. He's the lead back there right now. He got 42% of the snaps. So Drew picked up Michael Wilson, which actually had like an unbelievable week. I don't know if that'll continue, but as long as Marvin Harrison's out, which I think he'll be out at least a couple more weeks, he's their wide receiver target. And then you got Trey McBride there. But yeah, 18 targets, 15 catches, 185 yards, which I think I read somewhere that's the most yards received this season, which is kind of crazy. 26 points, and he did that with no touchdowns. So if he had a couple of touchdowns, like you would think someone with 185 yards would have, then he'd even have more points. But somehow he didn't get touchdowns. But he got a lot of targets. So hopefully that passing attack will keep up for when Marvin Harrison comes back, and hopefully Marvin comes back before playoffs because I need him personally. And that's the weekly report, which you all can look at there. All right, well, let's look at our matchups for this last week. Started myself and Pirtle. I won in this league here. Pirtle had an okay score. I had a goose on Quentin Johnston. Gosh, I don't know what to do with him. He just, every few games, he has a goose. There's like 2 of them, but still. But, he does have some upside. I think long term he'll be great. I'm assuming Keenan Allen's going to be not something in the future. He was on the field for 90% of the snaps, so that's a good thing. Why is Stray Harris listed as a WR2 above him, though? I don't know if Sleeper's got that right. But, still, he's on the field a lot. He only got target 3 times. Can't say much about that. Lad's on the field less. And Keenan on the field less. So, even though I got a goose from him, he's still on the field more than them 2. Let's see here. Yeah, they just didn't pass a bunch. How many times did they pass? Yeah, look, it's in red. Only 18 attempts passing. So, not a lot to go around if you only throw a ball 18 times. Only caught 10 times. So, I think it'll be better days ahead for him there. But, yeah, I was able to pull it through there. Pearl, I'm glad I didn't trade you for that 101 pick now. Genty is just not... I don't know if he's on the wrong team. If his jump from college to NFL is just hurting him so much. But he's had one good game, a few decent games, and then lots of not so decent games. So I don't know if he's going to be bounced back next year. Statistically, I think he's under the threshold that you look at for running backs on how many yards they get in their rookie year. That kind of sets them up for success in their sophomore year, but that's the kind of rule of thumb. So I don't remember the exact number there, but it's not. He's getting the receiving targets though, which is good, but I don't think he's quite there in the rushing. Now he's still got a few games left, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, outside of Christian McCaffrey and Kelce, and look at Chase Brown as well, and I guess your kicker too, Pirtle. I will give him that. Your team kind of just fell a little short there. Josh Allen carried me pretty good. Gibbs did well, 107 yards receiving, 39 yards rushing, no touchdowns, which is crazy. Luckily, I didn't need a touchdown this week, but he had some really good plays. I watched most of that game there. Nico did really good this week with Davis Mills. I think Davis Mills is going to be again this week, so hopefully they'll keep that chemistry up. 9 receptions, 10 targets, so nothing to look at there. Let's see. Yeah, Nico's listed as full participant, so I don't have to worry about him. Ibuka, down week. I think he'll bounce back against the Rams this week. He's still wide receiver 8, so still my guy. Bowers had a little bit of a down week, but not terrible. Saquon continues to be Saquon this year. Is RB11, so technically an RB1 for 12 team leagues or a 10-teamer, so he's just outside of that. He's already has bye, so that's good, but he's got to get into some groove. Overall, though, the Eagles, they didn't put a lot of offense up this week, so 16-9. It's not a lot of offense. More of a defensive battle there for Detroit and Philadelphia this week. And I'll highlight something on my team. I'm running out of steam here with a lot of my bench players. So we'll see. Everyone keeps getting hurt. Marvin Harrison's out. Of course, the rest of my team has been hurt, namely Neighbors. So we'll see what happens. But going to need some of these bench players to step up for me soon. Didn't play DJ Moore. I think Kyle Monunga is a person I can play, though, going forward. Really, the last 5 games he's done pretty well, except for Week 8 against Baltimore. I will say Pittsburgh is probably going to be a little bit of a tougher matchup, but, I think I may have to play him over like Tajay Spears or Quentin Johnson. I don't know who Tajay plays this week. He plays Seahawks. Yeah, I'll probably play him over Tajay for sure. Seahawks is good defense this year as well. Yeah, so that covers that match. Defeated Pirtle. He falls to 6-5. I think he still has some playoff hopes, which we'll look at here in a moment. But I'm 9-2 now. I'm still the second seed though. Jody's got me. We had the same record, but he's got a little bit more points. So that's okay. That's okay. All right. So Isaac and Seegers is up next here. Isaac defeats Ryan Seegers 109.7 to 109.4. Wow. It does not get much closer than that. I'm sure Seegers is upset. Always those close games when you lose those make you so upset. You're like, one more catch or one more call or anything for 0.3 points is, whew. But we've all been there. We've all had those games, part of fantasy football. Isaac looks like he was carried by James Cook and George Kittle and Stephon Diggs in his defense. And then on Seeger's side, you had ETN that kind of helped carry you a bit. And that's really about it. So your team really fell short on what they're projected by quite a bit. But, you still got a good team there, Seegers. This year may not be your year. Falling to 3-8, you're really going to have to win out to even maybe have a chance at playoffs. But we'll look at the percentages here in a minute. But it's going to be pretty hard for you to make playoffs, I think, at this point. Isaac kept his playoff hopes alive by winning this week by 0.3 points. Now, he did lose Josh Jacobs. He's going to be out for a little bit. And then he's not injured reserved. And it says he can play in week 12. So we'll see if he plays. But if he doesn't, that's going to hurt Isaac quite a bit, being one of his star players. Anything else to note here? No. Try to speed this up a little bit this week. Nothing else to note there. All right, next matchup. Bryce and Kelly. Bryce defeats Kelly 103 to 89. Wow. Some low scoring games this week, but it's okay. Lots of players on bye, I'm sure, and things like that. Kelly falls to 6-5. Bryce improves to 8-3. Lamar Jackson's not been Lamar Jackson this year. He's QB 21. He's missed several games though, but he started out the season really hot. Got hurt. He might not be playing as full capacity since he's been injured. He did good against Miami on week 9, but Minnesota and Cleveland plays the Jets this week. Hopefully it's a bounce back game for him for either Kelly, but you got A-Chan as well. A-Chan is a beast. He's doing good this year for you. He's RB 3? Yeah, RB 3. So he's gonna be good for you. AJ Brown, man, he had 11 targets, caught it 7 times, 49. That was a tough defensive match, though. Hopefully AJ Brown has some better days ahead of him here. He plays Dallas this week, so I think it's a bounce back game for him. And it looks like you went all in on the Bucs defense, or not Bucs defense, the Bucs offense with Otten and Tez Johnson. Didn't really do much for you there. Judkins did not. Judkins is so curious why he had like a couple of good games sprinkled in, but mostly been kind of negative games there. They did put Sanders in, halfway through the game there. So, and I was watching one of the clips there, and it was showing that 3 of the O-line was blocking 1 of the D-line, just letting the defense just walk right up to the quarterback. And, if their O-line's that bad, there's not much Judkins can do. Even if he was Saquon Barkley or Bijan or any of the top guys. If you don't have the O-line to make you holes, you can't make the holes yourself. And that's unfortunate for him. But it's what happens when you play for the Browns, right? Mm-hmm. All right, and then nothing else to really talk about on your side, Kelly. Bryce, you had Bam Knight or Zonovan Knight. Do pretty okay for you. Drake London, he's hurt now. That's unfortunate for you there. Hopefully he's back for you for the playoffs, but I think he'll miss at least a couple weeks there. I mean, that's what it says there. So hopefully back in time for the playoffs for you there. Jason did good for you. He did underperform from his projection by a couple points, but he did good still. Puka, I don't know what's going on with Puka the last little bit though. 14 points, 9 points, 19's okay. And 3, he only played 51% of the snaps. He's not played all the snaps since he's been back and healthy, like he was from weeks 3, 4, and 5. Hard to get points when you don't are on the field. So, but plays Tampa Bay this week, so we'll see if he has a bounce back week or not. If not, I'm sure he'll have a bounce back week against Carolina and Arizona. Now he does have a difficult matchup for the playoffs, starting with Detroit and then Seahawks. And really Atlanta, I think, has done okay this year as well. So they're kind of middle of the road, but they've had some games, I think, where they did better on the defensive side than people thought they would. So, yeah. So, probably something to watch out for. You got to play Puka, but yeah. Amon-Ra, look, 2 receptions on 12 targets. That is insane. That is crazy. I know I watched the game, like I said, and I know the Eagles were all over Jared Goff. He had to get those balls out pretty quick most of the time. But still, 2 catches on 12 targets is for Amon-Ra is unheard of. But then you got over here Jameson Williams. He had 17 points to Amon-Ra's 5. Amon-Ra had 12 targets to Jameson's 7. Jameson only caught 4 of those. Amon-Ra caught 2. But the ones that Jameson caught, he got a touchdown out of, and he had good yardage, 88 yards, 42 yards. I mean, he just was able to get the ball at the right time and do a little bit more. But Amon-Ra is still wide receiver 4. So I think you're okay there, Bryce. Adunze, I don't know, man. He started off hot and cooled off a bit. He's getting a lot of the snaps still, so everything's still in green. But the last 2 weeks he's been in the 70s. Week 4 he's also in the 70s. So I don't know if he's hurt or what's going on there. Let's see here. Anything else to talk about? Ollie Gordon on the bench did pretty decent. Kenneth Walker on Kelly's bench did decent. Let's see here. Who do we not play for Kenneth Walker? I'd probably play him over Tez Johnson for sure. I wonder if there's a reason you did not do that. But either way, 18 points. It's a 15-point difference. You actually would have won there. But I understand trying to capitalize on Tez Johnson because he had a big week last week. 18 points, yeah. So I understand that. All right. Move on to Brent and Rance here. Rance highest score this week, 176 points. Good job, Rance. Good job. But, yeah, demolished Brent's team. They didn't even try. They got 56 points. They just said, hey, this guy's got 176. There's no reason for us to try this week. We'll take a break, rest up, and come back next week, hopefully stronger. So we'll see, Brent. You're 0-11 right now, which is super unfortunate. But I think I say this every week. I don't know if you listen. You really got to start making some trades, start rebuilding your team. Really, I mean, you got Pittman on the bench. He needs to be traded, Brent. I hope you listen to this and listen to me there. You need to trade him away. You need to get something for him from a contender. I don't see why you wouldn't there. I might send you an offer actually for one of my firsts for him, just because he's 28. So it's only gonna be a rental, but I need some players, I think. So I might throw that your way and see what happens. But yeah, you guys are making some trades. Just anyone that has value. Just look at any of the charts there and see who's got value. Keep Trade Cut's a great place. Anyone that's got any value that you can trade for picks, do it. just do it. I mean, your team there is just, there are a lot of, average players. You don't have anyone to really build your team around right now. So, but yeah, start making some trades there, Brent. Yeah, not really much to talk about there. Brent's team did good. Rance's team did great. Jordan Love did okay. He's in the green for some reason, but only 17 points. But Bijan did great. Ted Millen finally popped off, so I'm happy to hear that for you there. I think this is his breakout game. He's had some other games where he's had some okay points, but like I said, I think last week or the week before maybe breakout, you need at least like 20, 25 points. He had 29, so he's a really good player. Rance, I think you got a good player there. Hopefully he'll serve you well. Same way with Trey McBride. He's 11 receptions. They were just slinging that ball. How many times did they throw the ball? Let's look at Jacoby. I think it was like 50 times, wasn't it? Yeah, 57 times. And completed 47 of them. That is a crazy amount of throws and crazy amount of completions. He only ended up with 21 points. They didn't have any touchdowns, but goodness gracious. You think that if you had that many completions, 47, and 452 yards passing, you get some touchdowns. He had, he had 2 touchdowns, I guess. Only 21 points, though. Alrighty. Another shout out to Rance. Being patient with Henderson. I really wanted to send you a trade right before he broke out, like week 8 or 9. But I was like, Stevenson is still getting all the work. And Stevenson got hurt. Now, I'm seeing reports, though, that when Stevenson comes back, if he's able to, he's going to split that 50-50. And you may see Henderson fall back down kind of where he was. But if that does not happen, or if they just let Henderson keep the bulk there, I think you've got a league winner here maybe in the playoff run. Baltimore is a good defense. Jets were a good defense. They traded away all their defense, though. And then you got Buffalo week 15, though. So you got 2 kind of okay defenses, and then maybe not a good defense. So if you make it to the championship and Henderson is the guy there, you're going to be tough to beat there because he's going to keep getting you 20-plus points, which is great for you. And Will Lutz did great. Let's see, anything else to say? On the bench, Christian Watson. As long as he's healthy, he's about the only target they have left there in Green Bay. Jake Ferguson, which he's been doing good every week. He's tight end 4 right now with his bye week, and he had a goose on the week 8 against Denver. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Last one being Jody and Drew. Now, Drew's team said, "Hey, I came to play this week." Jody's team said, we did not. We did not. So Drew defeats Jody 151-106. Drew goes to 4-7, keeping his playoff hopes alive. Jody could afford to make a loss here. He's 9-2 still, or not. He was 9-1. Now he goes to 9-2. So just Jody's team didn't perform the way that they normally do. Now, of course, the news being right now. Go ahead and cover this. Jamar Chase is suspended, so T. Higgins is about to pop off for you. Now you have T. Higgins, so you're lucky in that regard that you have both of them. So next week, whoever you play, which we'll do the previous minute, T. Higgins about to go for 30 and 3 or something like that. 30 catches, 3 touchdowns. I don't know. Let's see here. Anything else to note on your side there? Jody, you had Ty Warren that was out, and Taylor. So you had a couple of your studs out. They may have made a difference, to be honest, because they were both very big difference makers. So, but still, I don't know if they would have made up the 50. Made you up to 151 points, though. They could, because Jonathan Taylor just did it by himself, but that's not going to be an every week thing, I would say. But Drew's team, Dak Prescott did great. Tracy did great. Debo did great. George Pickens continues to do great. Even after CeeDee Lamb comes back, he's still doing great. Wilson did really good as well, which we talked about him on the activity part there with Drew picking him up. I think that was a great pickup. And hopefully for Drew, he continues to get 18 targets and 15 catches a game. So I think if Marv is out there, though, he would have got a lot of that. So that makes me sad for selfish reasons. On your bench too, Drew, you had Singletary that did really well against Green Bay's really tough defense. Kenneth Gainwell that did really good. Kenneth Gainwell has had a couple good games, but I wouldn't say he's been consistent enough that you can start him. So I can understand why you didn't start him. You got Ramondre that's out. Jordan Mason did okay. AJ Bronner did okay. Yeah, Pittsburgh defense 23 points in your bench as well. So I didn't look at the report there on the phone too closely, but I bet your max points was probably closer to like 200. So, alrighty, we'll go ahead and look at our Week 12 matchups here. So myself versus Seegers. I'm projected to win by quite a bit right now. Let's see if you got all your players. You do have all your players lined up there. Now, of course, there'll be some changes, some waiver wire claims for you probably. But yeah, I got to say my team is going to win there, just based on it being such a large gap on our points. So I'm missing a lot of my top players. So, Marvin Harrison really is the only one I'm missing this week. That's not like an IR, but missing some players there. So, but we'll make do with what we got. I think Josh Allen carry me, Gibbs will carry me. Hopefully Nico, Ibuka, Bowers, Saquon. If all I can get those guys to carry me, hard to lose to anybody when all those guys do well. So yeah, I'm gonna say myself this week against Seegers. I got Kelly and Isaac. Now this one here looks like it's projected to be very close, 128 to 127, favoring Kelly. Let's make sure everyone's got everything lined up there. All right, yeah, all the positions are at least filled. Now again, could change. Let me take a look here and see what I think, just looking at the matchups. I think Jacobs is not going to play Isaac. I would say it'd be, I don't know. Dealing with a knee contusion. Doesn't say anything about practicing today or not practicing. So, I mean, it's one of those things. If he doesn't play, then definitely I'm favoring Kelly. But if he plays, he could still play a limited percent or play hurt, not be able to do as well. Yeah, and then you're not seeing this, but on the screen here, but Isaac's also lost Garrett Wilson this year. He's an IR. He could potentially come back if Isaac gets to the playoffs. He's gonna have to probably win out though. Anyone that's 4-7, I think you're almost gonna have to win out to be able to get to the playoffs. So lots of teams in the middle though, so anything can go. All right, let's see here. Anything else we can do here? Look at. Yeah. Man, Jackins has not been doing good though. Dobbs, let's see how he's done without. He's been kind of middle of the road. He's playing a good snap percentage and he's got good targets the last 3 weeks, but Cade Otton is just, he wasn't as good as he was last year. Last year he's much better. Well, maybe not. Maybe he's had a couple of good games. All right, but yeah, he's not been the best this year. Looking at anything there. Man, your team looks like on paper so good, but I don't know. I think Kenneth Walker will do great against Tennessee. Rice may get shut down with Indiana. Indiana's been shutting down some offenses this year. Kansas City's obviously having some issues. They may not even have the playoffs at this point. So, yeah. AJ Brown's been having issues this year. Man, Kelly, you're really up against it. Your team looks good on paper, but I think with Lamar and Henry playing Jets this week, hopefully that gives you a little bit of a boost. Goff gets the Giants. Jared Cook gets, the Texans, but I think the Texans haven't been terrible this year on defense either. Kittle, Charbonnet, Devontae Smith, Diggs. No, I hate to say it, but I might give a slight edge to Isaac this week. So I'll go Isaac here. I got Pirtle and Jody. Now, I'll take a step back here. Watch me. I was kind of doubting Kelly's team. Watch them just really go ham this week. Score like 200 points, which is possible, but I don't see that happening right now, just the way your players are playing there. All right, we'll look at Pirtle and Jody here. So right now, Pirtle is projected to lose. Kind of hoping Pirtle wins. Now, both of them are missing their flex spot here. They're one of their flex spots. And also Pirtle is missing a kicker and defense. Ooh. I think if he puts all that in there, I don't know who's going to get off the waivers for these. But I would say that's like 16 and then another 8, so 24 points, which would put you up to like 132 Pirtle. Not too shabby. And then for then for Jody, you just need to put in Jonathan Taylor to get you 22 points, just putting him in. So 136. So, yeah, Jody's team is just so good. So good. He's certainly capitalizing on his great players. He also got Tyler Warren that's not even in the lineup. He's got McPherson and Buffalo playing as well. Man. Alright, I'm going to have to say Jody's going to win. Sorry, Pirtle. I'm going to give it to Jody, just based on what I see here. Jody's team has been pooping the last couple weeks, though, so we'll see if that continues. He's only lost one. Never mind. He lost one earlier in the season and then one last week. So maybe just last week his team kind of pooped, but that's okay. Brent and Drew. So Drew really needs to win this one. Now, wouldn't it be funny if this is the team or the week that Brent's team pops off, which is possible. Brent's had some decent matches where he's put up, some points. It's just when he puts up his points, the team playing him puts up a little bit more. So, Brent, you're missing out on one of your flexes there. So if you put in Pittman there, looks like, is your best one. So 10 points. So that puts you up to 94 on projected. And then for Drew, you got 2 wide receivers missing. So if you put in Wilson, okay, so you can flex them. Okay, so we can go with like Alec Pierce and Gainwell. 20 points extra. So that puts you at 114 based on what I can see there. So yeah, I'm gonna win Drew this week. Just that's too big of a gap to overcome, I think, there, Brent. And then look at Rance and Bryce. Both are missing some players here. Bryce is missing receiver, so is Rance. Rance also missing a flex, and so is Bryce missing a tight end and a receiver. And then both are missing their kicker. Wow. Okay. Obviously I have kickers on their bench there. I don't know who. I guess you gotta play Kyle Pitts this week for Bryce for tight end, and then you got I think the kickers kind of cancel each other out. And you got play someone for London there. Let's see who we got. They can take that spot. Trey Tucker, maybe? Probably Trey Tucker. It could be Brian Thomas, I guess, as well. But Brian Thomas has just not been good this year. He had a couple okay games a few weeks ago, but man. So you probably play Trey Tucker at this point too. See anything change to Brian Thomas? Now Brian Thomas, let's play Arizona. So if he actually plays, this could be a good matchup for him. So, but yeah, Trey Tucker's there, so 8 points as well. On your side there. Oh, I can't stop yawning, and I'm doing this early today. It's 6:40. All right, let's see here. For you there, Rams. Let's see here. Again, you got a receiver and a flex. Let's see. You got Kirk there, Myers, which Myers may end up getting some more work. He's starting to get eased in. Brian Thomas is out. That's a good matchup for you. I'd probably put Myers there. You may even just flex in Goddard, really. But let's say you do that, so it's like 17 points. 115. What did I say for Bryce? It was adding 8 or 9. I'll call it 16, I guess, or 17. 120. Yeah, that's gonna be close. Man, both of y'all have a lot of firepower in different spots. Okay. This is a tough one. I'm gonna lean Rance right now because Henderson's been doing well, McBride's been doing well, McMillan's starting to do well. He's heating up there for it. Yeah, Bijan's been doing well. They all have pretty decent matchups too. I think McMillan's matchup's not the greatest, but he's got a good thing there. Actually, I will say McMillan has a good matchup. If Arizona can throw for almost 500 yards, San Francisco, Carolina probably can as well. So, but either team can certainly win that one. Okay, and then we'll switch to the redraft. All right, let's see what we got for redraft. Scroll up here for some activity. Looks like that was the end of that. For the claims there, any claims to talk about? Kelly picked up Sean Tucker. I didn't see if you played him yet, but that was a good pickup there if you played him because 33 points. He's a person that's always had the talent, just behind a couple guys, now they're hurt. I think Sean Tucker is he was a great prospect. Now he didn't play 44% of the snaps. So, he got 19 carries though. So, I don't know if Buffalo is just that bad on defense. I didn't watch that game. But I remember the first game of the season, the Ravens really... The Ravens really ran all over them. I'm going to get a drink right quick. This episode is brought to you by Coca-Cola. All right. Maybe that'll make me stop yawning for a minute. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, so John Tucker was a great pickup for you there. Seekers picked up Algier, which Algier's been kind of sneaky okay. I like the week 10. But if Bijan ever goes down, Algier is certainly a RB1 rest of the time, or that time period that Bijan's out, which we only got a few more weeks here. So I picked up the Bucks, and I don't know if I played him. I think I did. No, I probably didn't play him, actually. I dropped Colston level, and he got 5 points. So he just had that one breakout game there against Cincinnati. But I didn't follow up with anything against two teams I feel like he should have. So certainly dropped him before I even knew the score of against the Minnesotas. And those are the superlatives or the report this week. Whew. All right, this week I lost to Rance 129-139. And I was almost the second highest score this week. I was third by 0.18 points. So basically, I was the second highest score up against the first highest score this week. If I would play almost anyone else, except for Brent, I would have won this week. So unfortunate there on that. Can't win them all. Rance carried pretty good by Josh Allen, Bijan, Diggs did well, Jamison Williams did really well. So he had the team. They performed well this week and they won fair and square. Dak did really well for me as well. Not as good as Josh Allen, but that's okay. Josh Allen has those games where he can pop off for 40, 50 points, and that's what it is. Let's see. He started off the year with 42. He had he had a 30, and then at 48. So he really decided to go out against me this week. But guess what? I played him in Dynasty, so I can't be mad at that. I played him in Dynasty, and I won. Not because of him. I would have won regardless, but he certainly helped me. All right, but yeah. Dak did well. ETN did well. Pickens did well. London did good. Now he's hurt, so I'm going to be in trouble there. Ferguson did well. Oh, he got green at least. Booga did not do well. You think that he would have done well. They scored 32 points. Jamar Chase, he did not do well, and then he's got suspended. So I'm going to be in really trouble this week. I haven't did the looking forward yet to who I play next week. But whoever I play next week, probably got an easy week if I don't have London and Chase. That's two of my first two picks, actually. So, yeah. So overall, I lost fair and square. Even if I played Trey Tucker, which got 12 points on the bench over Jamar Chase, which would be crazy to do, I still would have lost. So, because that would have netted me about 8 points. And that put me at 137. So, yeah, I would have lost. Nothing I could do there. Good job, Rants. All right, I got Isaac and Seegers here. Ooh, another nail biter here. 88.74 to 87.74. So, literally 1 point there. And Isaac took home the victory this week. He's 4-7. Seegers is 5-6. I didn't look at what. Yeah, Rants is 7-4. I'm 7-4. So, we're all kind of pretty close together, really. There's not really a team in this league that's fallen too far behind. Jody's 3-8, but he just had some bad luck this year. But everyone else is in the running for the playoffs right now. So this could be a really crazy finish to the year where the last week is going to come down to the wire and it's going to make some big implications on placements for the playoffs. So yeah, but yeah, Isaac beat Seegers there. Anything to note? I mean, really what saved Isaac there looks like is the Pittsburgh defense, 23 points, which is crazy. But there you got it. Crazy good there. And then also, you played Emmanuel Wilson, which takes some guts to play him. But Josh Jacobs got hurt. He took over, and he got 13 points. So you kind of got lucky there, Isaac, in that regard. If Josh Jacobs did not get hurt, you probably would have lost there. Now, in the other week, you have Josh Jacobs. So, yeah. So you probably, wish you would not got hurt on both accounts. So, A.J. Brown, we talked about him earlier, still did not do good. Worthy against Denver, it's a tough matchup. So is this guy's name is Brock Wright. My goodness, I could not talk. He had a good snap percentage, but the tight end just couldn't get it done there against Philadelphia. 7 targets. So don't know how many of those are catchable though. Brees Hall is kind of falling down. He's really hurt right now with his team. He's not hurt, but he's in a bad spot. He's already 14. But they're going to Tyrod this week. So we'll see if that improves. I feel like it will. So, yeah, just a close matchup there. Seegers, not much you could have done there. If you played Kenneth Walker, who did you not play Kenneth Walker for? Let's take a look here. All right, you're not playing over Chan probably. Algier, you could play him over. Algier did good last week, so it sounds like you're just chasing the points for him there. Devonta Smith only got 1.3 points. That's crazy. CeeDee Lamb, I got 15 points, not bad. McConkey, he's been very hit or miss. DK Metcalf has been pretty hit or miss as well. So, yeah, Kenneth Walker, has he been pretty consistent? RB23. He's been okay. I feel like going forward, you got to play Kenneth Walker over some of these other guys. Algier maybe, or even McConkey or Metcalf. Now, you do risk them kind of having a really boom game, but Kenneth Walker is also able to do that. So I think he's got more of a 4 as well. Yeah. All right. We'll look at Bryce and Kelly here. Another close game. Wow. So many close games this week. But Kelly wins 98.88 to Bryce's 97.4. So again, about a point difference there. 0.48 to be exact, favor of Kelly. So let's see if there's anything. Oh, you had some good players on your bench there, Bryce. That's unfortunate. But Kelly, to answer a question earlier, had Sean Tucker on his bench, played 33 points. So if you play the game, the what if game, I think Kelly wins that still. So looking at, what happened there, Kelly, Jacoby Brissett, James Cook did well for you, and Nico, they carried you. Bryce, you had Kelsey, vintage Kelsey. That's what you wanted to see from him. But yeah, you got Kelsey there, and then Connor Williams. So just didn't get quite done the way that you wanted to there, Bryce. But Mark Andrews even had a good game on your bench. So, but you were missing Tyler Warren, it looks like, which may have probably pushed you over. But you had Kelsey there. I mean, you probably play Warren over Kelsey, but I don't know if you play Kelsey over Pearsall. Maybe you should, though, going forward. Because if Pearsall couldn't get it done against Arizona, probably not going to get it done against most teams. Yeah, let's see here. Pirtle and Jody. So, Jody here lost to Pirtle. Pirtle 194-71. Just looking at, the benches here. It's not much to talk about. You have Tracy on the bench there, Jody, which you can probably play him over Josh Jacobs this week since he's hurt. I'm glad you denied my trades, by the way, for Jacobs. So I think I was offering you like a couple pieces in George Pickens, and they kind of worked out for me, I think. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But Justin Jefferson, he's just have a bad year this year. It's not his fault. It's quarterback play. Wide receiver 16 is not where he wants to be, I'm sure. But, with a quarterback play, there's not much you can do. Yeah, and he's on the field a bunch. He's healthy. He's getting good targets every week. So, unfortunate there. Bowers did also drop the ball. I mean, Jody, your team, capable of popping off at any point. I think they beat me. I'm one of your 3 wins. So, yeah. I mean, it was like Pirtle was carried with Derrick Henry this week. T. Higgins, which T. Higgins is going to be a great play this next week. So whoever's playing against Pirtle, I feel bad for him there. George Kittle did really well. He's always capable of doing those big games there now. He should do it more consistently, but didn't get that done previous weeks, but he did this week. So let's see here. 18 points last week. Never mind. Last week he did good. And then 4, and then 12, and then 0 points there. 91% snaps, but then he was hurt after week 1 for a while. For 4 games there. 5 games. 5 games, yeah. So maybe he'll come through for you at the stretch when you need him there, Pirtle. For my sake, I hope not. But yeah, not a lot to talk about there on that one. Let me go back here to this here. I don't know how I got on that. The last one was Brent and Drew. Brent beat Drew by 20 points there, so good job to Brent. Both of you are now 5 and 6. Looking at, you had Gibbs, Henderson, McMillan. So you feel like you have Henderson, McMillan, which is Rance's dynasty team there, so that's good. And I've got Gibbs in dynasty, but still, you got that stack there, which is, or not a stack, but you got that combo there. We'll call it a combo. And if they continue to do like they're doing, you're going to be able to cruise to the playoffs and maybe more. And Chase Brown there. I don't know, with Jamar Chase being out, I don't know how that affects Chase Brown. We'll see. Rico did not do terrible, but not as much as people thought he should get there. You got Singletary on the bench, Bam Knight. So you could have played them and increased your score a little bit, maybe. Yeah, just very slightly, though. There we go, yawning again. All right, and then Drew. You had McCaffrey try to carry you, and Trey McBride, and then Kareem Hunt actually did okay, too. But you had Quentin Johnston. I don't think that would have made up for 20 points. Let's see who you got on your bench. You got 18.6 on your bench there with Watson, though. Now, I don't know what you can do going forward. But if you played him, you would have still lost. But, 18 point. Yeah, you would have lost, but still a couple. But still, very close. If you would have played the defense there, Jacksonville, and then also Watson, you would have won. But then you can say the what-if game for Brent, which I think he only increased his score by 5, so you could have won there if you'd done that, but it's hard to know those things, so I wouldn't blame you there, Drew, on that part. Yeah, so we got that. All right, we'll look at our preview for next week. Myself and Isaac. It's going to be a tough one for me, especially without having... No, I did fix my lineup. Yeah, I did. Yeah, without having my first 2 picks. So we'll see what happens. But I do have the Cowboys trip stack because I have to play them against Philadelphia. Oh, my gosh. All right, Isaac, you're going to win this week. I don't know if I can... My team's going to... Sometimes the Cowboys surprise whenever they play Philadelphia, but, man, Philadelphia's defense is so good. I don't see a way that I win, but I have to play those players. I don't have anyone else to really play. I could play Daniel Jones against KC. I might end up doing that. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, there's just not much I can do there. But you got Mahomes. It's okay. I would say you don't really have any studs either. I mean, A.J. Brown should be a stud. Mahomes could be, but not sure. Breece Hall playing against Baltimore. I think he'll have a down game. I might have a chance. I got Buka. It's the only one that has a really good matchup. ETN has a good matchup. It might just come down to a couple players here, Isaac. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a close one no matter how you slice it. I'm going to say I'm going to win just because 107 to 102 right now, so 5-point buffer, but you certainly win. Certainly could win. All right, we got Seegers and Rants. Let's see here. Rants 7-4. Rants 7-4, and then Seegers 5-6. So with Rants, let's see what we got here. Everyone got stuff. Oh, you're missing a couple players. All right, so if we add in your couple players, I'm sure you'll be favored there. You need a tight end and a flex. So you're going to get tight end off the waiver wire, it looks like, and then you can flex in like DJ Moore probably. I think it's the only healthy flex you have. So if you do that, probably add like 15 points, be 118. And Seegers, you're missing AJ and McConkey this week, which hurts you a bit. So you got CeeDee Lamb again against Philadelphia. I'm gonna go Rants this week. On that. All right, let's see here. We got Bryce and Drew. Bryce is 6-5. Drew is 5-6. And then let's take a look here. It looks like it's not close, but I'll make sure. All right, so you are missing one player there, Drew. Let's see who you're going to replace with. Yeah, Alec Pierce, 9 points. All right, so you played the 9 points there. That puts you to 117, still down by 10. Man, I'm still yawning. All right, let's see here. Yeah, Yeah, still going to have to lean Bryce. Just looking at, I feel like Bryce's team's got more players they're producing right now. Tyler Warren, he's doing the triple tight end stack, but all of them have done well. So recently, I mean, nothing you can say about that. But you got JSN, Nakua, Barkley, Connor Williams, Jalen Hurts. Good matchup for the Eagles. And maybe even the Rams, too. And obviously Jason. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go Bryce on that one there. And we got Brent and Jody here. Brent's 5 and 6. Jody's 3 and 8. Jody's going to be missing probably Josh Jacobs, Deebo Samuel as well, Troy Franklin. So he needs kind of a running back and 2 flexes, it looks like. Let's see what he's got here. Goddard, Njoku, Cup, Tracy. So he'll probably just play a combination of them. So they're about 8 points each. So add 24 your score there. Put you 112. But even if you do that, so Brent's got 123 right now. Brent's team is ascending, I think. So I'm going to go with Brent on that one. And the last one, Pirtle and Kelly. Let's see here. Pirtle's missing 1 there, 2. Seems in defense. And Waddle. You got Jonathan Taylor and Pittman to put in. So that's 22 and 10. Well, you don't have to play Pittman, I guess, but you got at least 22 extra points there and probably, let's say 7 from a defense. So let's ground to 30, I guess. So you'll be at 126 there when that happens. Pirtle is 8 and 3 and Kelly's 5 and 6. I forgot to mention that right there. So let's see who we can even have on the bench there for Kelly. Kelly's just got lots of biases. Well, he did pick all the Broncos, which is unfortunate for him. Don't know why he did that. And Broncos have been terrible. I don't think R.J. Harvey had the breakout game people thought he was going to have either. Yeah, he did not. Maybe after the bye he'll be able to do it. So, with that being said, I'm going to say Pirtle's going to win this week on that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and look at our statistics here and see what we got for the playoff predictions. Alrighty, so this is for the Dynasty League. I've now reclaimed the first spot again over Jody. Both of us are projected to be 11 and 3 still. So, the number 1 rank will come down to points for most likely. My team has been consistent lately. Jody's team, not as much. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I got 99% chance to make the playoffs along with Jody and Bryce. So all of us are pretty much locked in for the playoffs. The next 3 in line, Kelly, Rance, Pirtle. And that's pretty much locked for them as well. We're all in the 90s there. So I think Drew, Isaac, Seegers, and Brent is not going to make the playoffs this year. So like I said, start thinking about what you want to do with your teams. Start making some trades that I've mentioned on previous shows here. Start trading your contending players that are a bit older, not people you're trying to build around, to the contending teams, contending players to go to contending teams, and try to get some youth and some picks. But yeah, and then as far as the win percentage of the finals, I'm at 36 right now, and Jody's at 28. So I'll look at the redraft now. Let it load up. All right. So for this here, we got 4 teams at 99% make the playoffs. Myself, Bryce, Rance, Pirtle. Okay. Pirtle's got the first round bye on lock, it looks like. So we'll see what happens there. There's 2 first round buys though, so I'm second in line for it. But also Rance is kind of right behind me there. But right now, the 1% for the finals is Pirtle at 38%. So the other teams, though, I forgot to mention that looks like they're projected to win or be able to get into the playoffs would be Brent and Seegers as the next two teams, but there's still a glimmer of hope for Kelly and Drew. So I think that those teams, if they win out, Kelly and Drew, you have a chance of being in the playoffs, but you're gonna have to win, and that's how it's gonna have to be. And then, Isaac and Jody, unfortunately, you're projected to not be in the playoffs. So, but yeah, looks like it's down to the final win percentage guesses right now. And things change real quickly as people get hurt. But it looks like Pirtle and Bryce are the top two teams to win it right now. But you know what? We'll see what happens. Let's look at our team rating. Team rating, yeah, Pirtle, Bryce, and then Rance and myself. So we'll see what happens. But that'll finish up our episode this week. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.